Hi, it's Arati from Remember Herbs. I wanted to talk about 5 reasons why our cigarettes are better than regular tobacco cigarettes. Now, most of you are probably thinking, heck yeah, that's obvious. Your cigarettes are better than tobacco cigarettes. Well, thank you for noticing. But I do get some questions about how herbal cigarettes, like tobacco cigarettes, create carbon monoxide, which you breathe in. That's a fact, and not hiding that fact. It's on all our packaging. It's also true that any kind of smoke inhalation is going to involve tar and carbon monoxide. So if you're in a burning house, or you are sitting around a campfire, or you're making barbecue, anything like that, you are encountering and breathing in tar and carbon monoxide. So that's just a heads up. However, our cigarettes are a risk reduction product. So the idea behind the cigarettes has always been to help to address the underlying reasons why people smoke tobacco or marijuana, if you want to use those in that way, and help them break their addiction. Then you have transformed smoking into something that you get to choose whether you do it or not. Whether it's for ritual use, you do it occasionally, or it's for like breakthrough stress, you're getting to make the choice because you're no longer addicted. So there's that too. Chemicals. Yeah, so our herbs, the herbs that I purchase are all organically grown and are wildcrafted, and if they're either way, they're tested to make sure they don't include any chemicals, heavy metals, and stuff like that. So that's a very, very, very different picture than big tobacco products, which are full of chemicals. Fair labor. Fair labor is so important. Now, you might be thinking, well, we have labor laws in the United States now. We're no longer dealing with slavery like we were a couple hundred years ago. So why are we worried about labor in terms of the tobacco industry? Well, a lot of tobacco work is not done in the US, but let's just look at the stuff that's done in the US. There are exceptions to child labor laws in the realm of farming. So that means that children under 12 can work on tobacco farms and do. So normally the rules are 14 and up can work, and there's different restrictions in the hours. But for farming, because of the history in our country of family farms, there's this exception, and the tobacco industry exploits this exception so that they can have children doing the labor, which nowadays is more like factory production work of like sorting through tobacco and stuff like that. But that's kind of like hard. Like that's a lot of labor for a young child, a 12-year-old, to be doing. And obviously young children are not gonna be, they don't get paid as much too. So, and there's so many factors with that. And the other thing too is that farmers are not allowed to unionize. So they are in a position where children can work and do, and they are not allowed to unionize. So they cannot fight for their rights as laborers. Something to think about. So even if you get a product that has tobacco from the US, that is, that is something that is happening. But a lot of tobacco production and manufacturing of the cigarettes is happening in other countries where they have less stringent labor laws. So more likely it's more of a problem. And at Remember Herbs, I am living in Portland, and so my employees make a living wage that are here, and I want to help them be happy in the workplace, lots of protective equipment, and looking at ergonomics and stuff like that, and making sure airways are doing good because there's a lot of dust involved. I'm a former nurse, so those things are really important to me, along with just being a person who's had so many jobs that it's very easy for me to empathize with people wanting to be treated with respect in the workplace. And then I recently started collaborating more with a farm in Baja Sur in Mexico, and I wanted to make sure that the labor conditions there were up to my standards because you just never know. So I went down there myself. I checked out the situation, and it's really just a small number of people that are doing work for me here and there. But the conditions are great. The people get housing and health care and good wages and no kids working and just good vibes. So it's an organic farm, so they're not exposed to chemicals unless it's like legally required for cleaning supplies and stuff like that. So you can feel really good about that. And Brown Bear Herbs also really likes to give back to the community. That's an extra one. I went my whole life, I pretty much did a lot of voting with my dollar, I call it, and looking at, what are the companies that I'm supporting using with the money that I give them. And it makes a difference. I have seen how people changed over time, whether it's like more cruelty-free cosmetics or more vegetarian options. I'm a lifelong vegetarian, so those have always been big areas of concern for me. And definitely like more organic food options. Those are all things that are happening because people are using their money in certain ways and the market is responding. Yeah. When making my business, what I was really thinking about is that most tobacco cessation strategies are not very empathetic. They are not really thinking of you as having different needs besides your physical addiction. A lot of people who I talk to don't even really feel like the physical addiction is their primary problem. They might not smoke except for when they go out to the bars, and so they're not feeling like they're not jonesing for a cigarette every day of the week. They're having a need for smoking when they're drinking or when they're socializing, and other things too. And you know what? I don't even think that each person is one person. So like the tobacco cessation industry with like the nicotine weaning tools like gum and patches and stuff like that, or just like that whole idea of just like quit without any support. It's just not very empathic. So they are, I don't even, like, they're seeing everybody as like, let's just science it. And I am thinking, you're not even one person. Like one day you're emotional. The next day you're having like a social dynamic where you might feel like you need to smoke in order to like not make somebody you want to impress think you're uptight or something like that. Now, that might seem to some people like, oh, that's a peer pressure thing. You need to get over it. Well, that continues into adulthood when a lot of people are still, maybe drinking more than they would at like a work party or something like that, or smoking to fit in or whatever it is. So it's nice to have other options. And I feel like these options are fun too. Like some of them are more about emotionally supporting you, like gentle and protective. But other ones are just intended to be fun, a fun alternative to tobacco or marijuana if you're not wanting or able to smoke that's not addictive. So a lot of people talk to me about how they are thinking about smoking tobacco and we're looking at mine as an alternative. I did that at one point when I was about 17 years old. I did think about smoking tobacco and I did it for like a year. And then I had to like kind of like defriend all my friends in order to quit. I didn't know how else to do it. So I'm offering you some options, and who knows? Maybe your friends will also think it's interesting to try another option, have a new experience, or just do something different for a change. And they smell less too. So I hope you're having a good end of the year, and I really hope that you choose 2022 to be your year that's totally tobacco free. and or nicotine free if that's how things are for you. So make your New Year's resolution and really commit to like taking care of your health, taking care of supporting businesses that you can believe in, and having a little bit more fun, because you're feeling better too. When you're taking care of your emotions, you're having more fun. It might seem like everybody's having fun because they're out partying and smoking and doing drugs, but like if you feel miserable the next day, that's not much fun. So take care of yourself. If somebody you care about would have happier lungs, a happier body without smoking, maybe slip them a pack too. Here. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications.